Guus is a highly experienced business trainer and consultant, and with a well-earned reputation in the international Microsoft Dynamics arena. Over the last 15 years, Guus has delivered inspiring business training and presentations to hundreds of Dynamics partners and end users all over the world. And during the last few years, with particular attention to business and digital transformation. Guus has a company, Dynamics and More. The company supports Dynamics customers and their partners in the domains of strategy, digital transformation, marketing, sales, and project success. Guus was also a member of the Council of Directions for Partners, which is the community for Dynamics 365 Business Central partners in EMEA. So we all go, somebody from DC goes to the directions every year where we get all of the new stuff coming through. Finally, Guus is a frequent speaker at various international Microsoft events and partner events all over Europe. His approach is perceived by both customers and partners as inspiring, creative, provocative, but always entertaining. And having watched him present, hold on to your seats. So over to you, Guus.
Well, thank you, Catherine. What a nice introduction. What a great text. You just shouldn't have said that I wrote it myself. Right?
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like me, Guus.
So, welcome and good morning on my behalf as well, on this nice day, on this great event. Actually, I'm a father of 3 boys. I'm from Netherlands, and as you can imagine, they all play football, right? They eat football, they drink football, they sleep football. So I stayed in this hotel this night, and I sent a picture to my youngest son this morning, like, look where I'm now, right? What football stadium this is. He was confused, a little bit like where are the goals, right? That's interesting. So, I was invited to share with you the secrets of success, if you want, from ERP, but more specifically from digital transformation. And I thought it was a good idea to start with some music. I'm not sure, when you were having coffee or tea, like a few minutes ago, you might have heard some music. Somebody noticed that? You did? Yeah. Any idea what music it was? You too, right? You know this band here? Sure you know, of course. And what number was playing?
With or without you?
With or without you. Okay, now you know what I'm going to talk about. Here's the first question. U2 has a lot of great songs, as we all know, right? So there must have been a reason, specific reason why I selected this song. Does anybody has an idea why I selected this specific song? Sorry?
We can't do it without you.
Oh, that's very nice and gentle to say. I would say that these days markets and customers are changing. They do. But they're changing with or without you, with or without me, right? And I've learned over time doing presentations that showing slides 10, 50, 100, I don't have 100, and speak a lot of words and show you screens of software, sometimes it's too much. But music, for one reason, can keep spinning in your head, right? So if you wake up tomorrow morning and the first thing you hear is the music, hopefully you still remember my presentation, and hopefully you remember the secrets for success for your presentation, for your transformation. Okay, before I say something about myself, let me start with a small quote. I hope you can see it from the back because we got windows and a lot of lights. But there's a saying from a guy called John Cage, and he says, I can't understand why people are frightened of new ideas. New ideas. Because he said, I'm frightened of the old ones. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this nice place close to Southampton, good morning and welcome in our presentation, because now the first question is in your head, right? On which side of the line are you? If you have fear, if you have any, I know you're brave people, but if you have fears, which side of the line are you? Where's your colleague? Where's your boss? Where's your organization, right? You have fear for old ideas, you're frightened for the new ones. So, a little bit about my background. My name, and guys, this probably is the most difficult slide of the day because of my name. Catherine did pretty well. My mother called me Guus. Someone from the UK once took his tie and he said, your name is like a throat disease. Can you imagine? So it's Gus or Goose or Goose. I'm used to everything. And I won't even mention my last name, right? Because it's even more difficult. difficult. So I'm in this business for so many years, I don't even have the guts to say the real number. It's over 30 years. Like some in the room maybe also have the same, right? It's more than or over, it's a lot. And I've always been busy in training, in coaching, and in inspiring people. But honestly, I said already, I'm from Netherlands. You know Dutch people, you know if Dutch say inspiring, what we really mean is provoking, right? Because that's one of the most important gifts that we have as Dutch people. So I was founder of a company that manages Microsoft partners all around the world. Left the company, and since 3 years I work alone again. I like to present, I like to speak, I like to write, I like to provoke. I'm Dutch. And like I said, I'm from the Netherlands. So, just so you know, it's a small country close to the North Sea. Anybody heard from the Netherlands? Most of you did, right? Who was in the Netherlands? You visited the country? Okay, what's the best thing from the Netherlands, if we have anything? Dennis Bergkamp. Okay, we got Arsenal fans in the room. Tony's chocolate. Okay, what's the best food? Was my next question, right? With you. Schnitzel. That sounds German. Schnitzel, by the way. And you already mentioned Dennis Bergkamp, because my next question would be, we always send our best football players to your country. But now you stolen it. Who's the second best player we sent to him? Okay, guys, before we start, I would like to do a small exercise with you. We're not a sports event, it's early in the morning, we do a warming up. Please stand up if you want, and make sure your hands are free. So no pens, no books, or whatever. And Tom, I want you to do the exercise as well, right? That's a serious exercise. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put your hands up, and then put your hands on the top of your ears, very gently. And I would very much like you to start massaging the tops of your ears. Okay? No laughing, it's a serious matter. And while you're massaging your ears, I will tell you that recently I read a blog about transformation and innovation. Continue, 2 hands. And the blog says, if you go to the office and every morning you start with massaging your ears, you are more open for innovation and your chance for success is higher. If it's all bullshit, at least we have a few nice pictures. Thank you very much. So, we're going to talk today about IT a lot, right? And we're going to talk about digital transformation, like I said. But I'm wondering, what is the most important thing in your company? Where's the focus in your business? How do you know at the end of the year if your business was a good year? Can I ask you, what kind of business are you in?
Wealth management.
Wealth management. So what's the most important thing for you to measure success?
Growth.
Growth. Okay.
Growth.
Yeah. For you, how you measure success? What's the focus of your business? Okay. Profitability and get our people developed. And I know when asking the question, right, you all say shit. Prepare myself. Maybe you're gonna ask me. So you all know what's important for you. And all the answers are good, ladies and gentlemen. But I think these days especially, we all tend to forget one super important thing. Might be disappointing for you to see it, but I would say that one of the most important things, maybe the most important thing in your business, in my business, is customers. And you'll be surprised, and maybe you're even a little bit disappointed if you come to a venue with a vendor like Dynamics Consultants, and the keynote speaker starts not talking about ChatGPT or AI or cloud or big data. I'm bringing some boring news, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about customers. Because if you have the best wealth management services, if you're a baker, you make the best bread in the world, whatever it is, you're a real estate manager, right? But you have no customers. Good luck with your bread. You have to eat it yourself. Without customers, there's no living. I know some of you start thinking, why did Catherine flew in a Dutch guy to tell you that customers are important, right? Some of you are starting thinking right now, because we already know this, isn't it? Customers are important. Without customers, there's no business. So we know that customers are important. If I tell this to my youngest boy, and I tell him that customers make the difference between survival or dying, between profit and not profit, he tells me, if that's so important, Daddy, I would expect that every customer gets VIP treatment. I would expect every customer and every organization to have a red carpet. I didn't visit your office yet, and yours. You know what your office looks like. So the question is, do we treat customers according to how important they are? Well, I can tell you, in most offices that I visit, I didn't visit Dynamics Consultants, by the way, but in most of the offices, the red carpet is maybe to the laundry services, but it's not there. What we do see at offices is this. So once again, yes, customers are the most important thing in the world. We say they're crucial. Without them, we can't. But the best parking places are for us, or for the management. Well, I'm Dutch, as I said, and one of the hobbies for the Netherlands people is to provoke others. So if I'm traveling by car to Germany, one of my favorite things is to park my car in this place. We like it, right? And then within 5 seconds, somebody comes out and starts screaming, "Sir, it's not allowed, you should," maybe say piss off, whatever, "take away your car." I say, "Why?" And they say, "Can you read? It's up there." And I try to say, but I'm a school director myself. No chance, right? So we say we are customer focused. Some of you might have a LinkedIn profile saying we're customer obsessed. It's even one rank higher, right? But in the meantime, we steal the best places for ourselves. This is only a small example, right? There are hundreds, there are thousands of examples where we can improve our customer focus. You can do it, I can do it, we all can do it. And ladies and gentlemen, customers are different than 5 or 10 years ago. So I came across a nice picture for somebody visiting a restaurant, right? And it's amazing how creative people are with ketchup and mustard. We waited 30 minutes, no service. In other words, F you, I will never come back. I'll tell my friends not to show up, right? Feedback from customers. And customers today are super important. A recent study showed us that there's 2 magic words with customer relationship. It's the word me and the word now. I don't want to wait, and it's all about me. And people say it's a selfie generation. The modern customers, Generation Z or Y, whatever you want to call, and you see people rather get killed by the rules and still prefer to make a selfie, right? It's all about the customer. It's all about the customer. Now the question is, how customer focused is your organization? Where's your red carpet? And more importantly, where's your red carpet treatment? So I think what we should do in these days, before diving into IT and AI and all the technical stuff, is the question, can we accept that today's customers are the boss? And I'm not sure how many of you are MD, or until a few minutes ago you thought you were MD. Sorry, somebody else is taking your position, because customers with 2 mouse clicks can decide to shop somewhere else. That's what people do. That's what we do ourselves, in business and private life. Now it's interesting to see if CEOs or MDs from companies were asked, so how good is your customer service? 80%, ladies and gentlemen, that's 4 out of 5, of all the MDs in this survey believe they deliver not just ordinary customer service, but superior customer experience. 80%. Interesting that only 8% of the customers do agree. So there's a gap from a factor of 10. The question, of course, in the last line, what would your customers think? What if I would call all your customers and say, how is the company doing? Are you happy with them? Would you buy again from them? Would you recommend them to others? Right? And I see some of you are thinking, shit, maybe we should ask that question. Some of you maybe do customer satisfaction surveys. Some of you don't. And if you do it once a year because it's on the list and it's a job, a task, and you come with boring questions, probably people say, well, on a 1 to 10 scale, you're doing 6, you're doing 5, you still don't know nothing, right? So asking is something you can do every day. All your employees in every interaction can ask, how are we doing? And it's important because most organizations in the world are not at all customer focused. I found this picture, and the documents you see lying on the floor are all the documents people are supposed to fill in if you want to be a patient in a hospital in England. And the person lying there is not dying, but it's just to show how much documents and how much formulas there are. We all started laughing, right? We hope we'll never get in the position to stay healthy and not having to go to the hospital. But the question is, how complex are hospitals in England with all the rules and legislations and whatever? The second question is, how complex is your organization? How many forms do I have to fill in? What do I have to do before I'm finally finished to become your customer? And I can tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen, if it's too complicated, I'll find somebody else. Even if it's more expensive, I'll find somebody else. We don't want complexity. We're allergic for complexity. It should be simple, transparent, and easy. Well, let's then move to where IT systems are. And I would say today, let's focus on the ERP side of the house, right? Your back office, your administration. We look at ERP solutions installed. I'm not sure if everybody has good eyes from the back, but these systems typically had a focus on the internal organization. Traditionally, ERP systems were meant to support your process of creating a product or creating a service, right? They were meant, when you installed them a year ago, 5 years ago, some of you maybe 10 plus years ago, they were meant for internal efficiency and they were meant for cost saving, which is all okay. And what we see in bigger companies is often they're implemented in what we call a silo approach. So per group, per division, per department. If you're bigger per country, we get the same solution, but we implement it slightly different. Right? I think we all know this. The question is, did we focus those ERP implementations on the customers? Where is your customer in ERP? Where's the customer in your processes? Is it in the middle or is it somewhere in the end? And this was all true until 5 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. But as we know, 3 years ago, something happened called COVID. And you might have seen this questionnaire circling around on LinkedIn where somebody said, who is leading the digital transformation of your company? It's multiple choice. Is it A, the MD, the CEO? Is it B, the Chief Technological Officer, CTO? Or the right answer, as you can see, is COVID. Because COVID pushed all of us to transform more digitally. Let's just talk about working from home office, which was impossible 10 or 15 years ago without Teams and Zoom and all the stuff. So even companies that were traditional and conservative, I've heard there are a few in this country, even these organizations were forced to start changing. And I saw another interesting graph, a cartoon, and as in the left-hand side, you see an internal company meeting. And there's the guy in the blue jacket, could be a lady as well, maybe it's you yourself in your blue jacket, leading a meeting and saying, digital transformation is years away. I don't see our company having to change anytime soon. That's the inside outlook. But from the outside, in a matter of seconds, the meeting is ended. No notes, no more blue jackets. Company's gone. Like people like me were invited to provoke you a bit, to make it black and white, and that's something you can think now, that's only black and white. It's only a guy from the Netherlands, right? And we're in England, we're conservative, we're slowly. Maybe this happens here 10 or 15 years from now. Maybe, or maybe not. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, this slide, this cartoon shows the urgency that we have to feel when it comes to modernizing, when it comes to putting customers first. Because I think that's my story. Okay, so step number one is put your customers first in everything you do. There's a lot to win. Your customers will love you to have this red carpet approach. And you would love to select your own vendors who treat you as with a red carpet. The second question is, where's your proposition? So what do you offer? Right? Product, services, a combination of them. My observation is that there's more and more commoditization in the world. Products are more equal over time. Services are more equal over time. There's multiple outlets where you can buy the same services and products. And if products are looking the same, the question is, what is your differentiator? And what we need to do, in my simple opinion, I'm only from Holland and it's only a small country, but what we need to do is put everything we can on adding value. Do everything we can to make life of our customers and potential customers easier, more comfortable. Not just with the documents and the bureaucracy, if you want, but also deliver what they want. And if they want new things, find out if that could be a service and start adding that. Right? Adding value, and then of course charging for the value add, that's as simple as possible, is something that we need to put more focus on. A simple thing could be come up with a contest in your internal organization, ask every single employee to come with a suggestion how you can add more value in your admin, in your sales, in your marketing, in your warehousing, wherever. Ask people come up with good ideas, right? I'm not sure about your company culture. You give them a trip to Rome or a bottle of wine or whatever. Make a kind of a competition of it. You'll be surprised, really. You'll be surprised how many good ideas your people have. But maybe they didn't get the platform, right, to come up. So adding value is super important. So I thought, England, serious country, let me prepare with a serious preparation. So I thought I'd bring you kind of a model that shows us the progression of economic value. And it's a model called the experience economy, created by two guys, Mr. Pine and Mr. Gilmore. What we see here is we see your competitive position. So are you differentiated or undifferentiated, equal to anybody else? On the right-hand side is the needs of the customer. Are you super relevant for your customer or are you irrelevant? And the outcomes of these two questions, result in a pricing. Is it market pricing, like anybody else, or do you have premium pricing? It's a simple model. Let me explain. It starts left in the bottom. You can't read it because of the covers, but it says commodity. Right? Commodity means it's simple, it's the same, and a commodity is irrelevant for the needs of the customer. It's undifferentiated because it's a commodity. You can buy it everywhere, and because of that, pricing is low. Pine and Gilmore say if you want to add more value, your first step should be to make a good out of this commodity, to manufacture something. If you do that, you become more differentiated from all the others that just do commodities. You become more relevant for the customer, and that's why your pricing moves in the right direction. Okay? Step one. Step two is, once you have the goods, consider to also add services. Same story, not everybody that can make goods is also able to do services. You're doing both, it becomes kind of a one-stop shop. You become more differentiated, you become more relevant, and in the bottom your price go to the right side. That's the right direction. And then the interesting point, the last, stage 4, step number 3, Pine and Gilmore say you should think about delivering an experience. And if you deliver an experience, you're super differentiated. Not many others can do the same. You're super relevant. And because of PB. This very morning in my hotel room, I checked the price on the market for coffee beans, because coffee beans really is a commodity. And the price for this bag is $1.35. Okay? It's a commodity. If we would decide to start a trading company in coffee beans, and we charge $1.38, we sell nothing. Because there's other people selling the same for less. If we try to be smart and we sell it for $1.30, we bankrupt next week. So there's only one choice, do the same as everybody. Okay? Okay. What was the advice from Pine and Gilmore? Make